Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
All right, everyone, it's Dr. Homebrew. Welcome back. It's your old friends here to talk about homebrew, how to make your homebrew better, and, why your homebrew is not so bad after all.
Why it's better than you thought it was.
Yes, in 2 easy steps.
Yes.
1, you're drinking commercial beer. I don't know.
In
Whatever.
2, you're drinking your own.
Right.
There's so much good commercial beer out there these days that it's, sometimes it's hard to want a homebrew. You get lazy. You're like, well,
Yeah,
I can just go to the store and buy this beer.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend, and I won't name his name because I don't know if he wants me to call him out or not, but he goes, my homebrew setup is really cool. I get in the car, and I drive down to the store, and I buy beer, and then I come home and I drink it. It's pretty involved. And I go, shit, that's really good homebrew system, dude. That's really smart. I need to start doing that. I need to get one of those systems. But I don't.
No.
You mean you don't have a car?
I don't
I've
have a car.
seen you drive
But
one.
you've got the Pico
It's
brew.
not my car.
Oh, okay.
I have a Pico brew.
You're
That's
brewing
right.
with it coming up soon, too, huh?
Yep. On the 7th, we'll be at Heretic Brewing Company in Fairfield. And so
Brewing.
even if you don't want to come and brew, you can come check out the Pico brew. It'll be a fun time.
And check out JP.
Check me out.
Even if you don't want to talk to JP, you can check out the Pico Brew.
You can. Well, you bring some binoculars.
Right.
You can look from the parking lot.
Who wouldn't want to go talk to JP?
A lot of people.
Oh.
Yeah, myself
there-
included.
You don't
He will
talk
be
to yourself.
there in front of a mirror ignoring himself.
That's true. It's like I don't even want to talk to that
It's like
dude.
the opposite of one of those Siamese fighting fish.
Exactly. I will not fight myself. I'll just turn away. I turn the other cheek to even
Right.
myself. Thanks for joining us, everyone. It is Dr. Homebrew, your interactive BJCP score sheet. If you guys want to get your beer into Dr. Homebrew and ask the guys here all the fun things about your beer, email me, jp@thebrewingnetwork.com, and we are always accepting submissions. We will suggest. We will accept yours as well.
What?
We might even give you
Exactly.
some right answers.
In other words,
Maybe. We'll see.
send us some beer, please.
Send us some beer, please.
Yes.
jp@brewingnetwork.com. Before we get started, though, we would not be here without our fine sponsors, 5 Star Chemicals. You go to 5starchemicals.com, learn all about PBW, Star Sand, all the other chemicals that they have to help you clean and sanitize, which you can't really do at the same time. You have to do one and then the other. It's like learning how to crawl before you learn how to walk. It's this is the kind of the fundamentals of making good beer, and that's what we teach on Dr. Homebrew, and 5 Star Chemicals helps us get that point across. So check them out at your local homebrew shop. If your homebrew shop does not carry 5 Star Chemicals, email 5 Star, email your homebrew shop, and get some PBW in your life, man. It's worth it. That's for sure.
Do they have a third step for the ultra paranoid, like the super
The nuclear
sanitizer, sterilizer?
They might. I don't know.
It'll sterilize you.
Well, maybe. I don't know. On the commercial scale, you can get like the parasitic acid or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that at home.
No, you definitely don't.
You'll burn your hand down to a stump.
You're right.
Whoops. Homebrewing accident. Oh,
But my
well.
beer's clean.
Unless that's what you're going for.
Yeah.
And then,
No.
then you're okay. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about, I think, don't we? We talked about the brew day right there. I do want to mention our our other two sponsors of the show who give stuff away. Of course, coming on as a guest of Dr. Homebrew, 5 Star Chemicals automatically gives you a little thank you pack, a little prize pack for being part of the show with some PBW and Star Stand and all that kind of stuff in there. But we have 2 other sponsors. We have GrogTag, grogtag.com, and High Gravity. Go to highgravitybrew.com, and they both give awards. One is for the lowest score. It's kind of a fun little contest that we do. GrogTag is the sponsor of the At Least Your Beer Will Look Good $40 gift certificate, so you get $40 to spend at grogtag.com to craft some cool, customizable, and reusable homebrew labels or wine labels or coasters or whatever you want. And then the folks at High Gravity Brew for the other person on the show, the other guest on the show. I don't want to say winner because that implies that the other person lost. and it's not a competition. It's not really.
No.
But so they're going to donate a bunch of stuff too. So support our sponsors. They they give us free stuff to send out. And
I thought the high gravity award just went to the beer with the highest gravity. That's what I've been voting for.
You doing it wrong?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
it's all right.
Live and learn.
No. Yeah. So those are our sponsors, and it's a good time. And then so we have a guest in the studio. We have who do we have? Where are my notes here? We have Brian and Craig, right?
That's correct.
How you guys doing? Sorry, Craig. You need to turn your mic on here.
That's right.
There we go. One more time.
Good name, Brian.
That's right.
There we go.
I am here. Brian is here.
We did it eventually.
Brian's in the house.
Oh man,
things just got confusing.
Yeah, just a little bit. How you guys doing? You guys have been hanging out at the bar for a while.
Doing great. Having some drinks.
Yep. Yeah. Good. So what do we have? What did you guys bring in?
We brought in an American Amber.
Okay.
And we brought in a Belgian Dubbel.
Okay, awesome. Who are we going to do first?
Amber.
Let's do the Amber first.
We're going to do the Amber first.
And we got a nice fresh bottle of it here.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh.
Let's break into that. Whose Amber is it?
It's both of ours. We brewed the Amber at Craig's house.
Okay. Do you guys brew together? Are both of these beers together, or?
Yeah, we brew them both together.
Okay.
Yep. Sometimes
Awesome.
we brew at my house. Sometimes we brew at Craig's house. And we're going in together and starting actually a commercial brewery.
Oh, nice.
Talk about it at some point.
Of course, yeah. Cool. Where's that going to be?
It's going to be in Livermore.
Oh,
it's going to be called Shadow
my hometown.
Puppet. Yep.
Shadow Puppet. Okay. Yep. Whereabouts in Livermore?
It's right off the First Street exit.
Okay.
So yeah,
awesome.
Right by Lowe's. Yeah.
Right by Lowe's. Okay, yeah. Good old Livermore, man.
Yep.
So you guys will be like the third brewery out there, right?
We'll be the fourth.
The fourth.
Yes.
Holy shit. Picked the wrong town to leave Livermore.
Livermoreans like to drink.
They do.
Livermorons?
Yeah, they've been queued up on all that wine for decades. Now they're ready for some beer.
Time to branch out.
Drinking town.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's cool. Well, thanks for coming all the way out here from Livermore. Yeah.
And is one of these beers more inspired or more one of your recipes than the other? Because we got to pit one of you against the other so we can have fisticuffs later on.
Brian's all about fighting right now.
Fisticuffs.
Yeah.
Right.
We can just make yours the American
I'll take
Amber.
the Amber, and you can take the
And Craig can be the Dubbel.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
That's fair enough. So how long have you guys been homebrewing?
Me, just a short time, probably about 2 years.
Okay.
Okay. I'm about 10 years in.
About 10 years in, okay. So are you kind of more the driving guy behind the recipes, or do you guys work on that together?
I'll be more beer. He'll be more
business.
Everything else.
Okay. Yeah. You guys look the part. You
Yeah.
look more like a brewer. He's got the beard and the hair.
I shaved this evening.
Yeah, and you look like you know what's happening. You have glasses on. Not that you don't, but you have full glasses, and
Right.
you have the thing. And you're like, I'm a professional, and we have a guy with a beard and a work shirt over here.
You always got to have a guy with a beard and
Gotta
a
look
guy
the
with
look,
good
right?
solid glasses. Lee, you need to grow a beard, brother.
Yeah.
I cut mine off years ago. Before it was artisanal.
Oh, yes, that's right. The artisanal beard. It's not hipster now. It's artisanal.
not.
Well, we do
Right.
get Warren in here sometimes. He helps make up for either of our lack of facial hair.
That's right.
And JP, of course, too.
Well, I don't want to brag. I don't want to brag.
Yeah.
Hey, good thing you shouldn't.
I was telling Bev during the break, I was like, you know what I miss? My hair.
It would be good if it came back.
Instead
yeah.
of hair.
Well, at least you can grow
It's
a
so
beard.
nice. I can't really grow a beard. It's still like patchy and dumb. So, what do you mean? I can't be a
nothing.
professional brewer. Is what I'm saying.
Put some Grecian formula in it. It'll just be all more even, and then it'll really look nice.
Yeah, the chia pets.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, sounds good.
Whatever.
Just graft chia onto your
Graft
your
chia.
head, right?
That'll be good.
Yeah.
I'll be saving the environment. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, you maybe
Yeah.
even live off the photosynthesis.
I think they make it just for men with no hair but only beard, too. Like just
I could
for
live with that.
men.
Start rubbing olive oil on your head and see what happens. I was reading an article
Is
last
that
night
racist?
about growing
Because I'm
out.
Greek. Now you want me to
No,
just
about
bathe in
growing out
olive
your
oil
hair naturally.
and eat olives and cheese? And that sounds like you're really
Because
good.
I obviously need to grow more hair.
Right.
And
It helps you grow
it
hair.
suggested-
Olive oil.
Yeah, they were like, put it on your eyelashes. Your eyelashes will grow thicker and longer. So rub it on your
Come
forehead.
on! There's no way. I can imagine Bev
Let's do
going,
it.
Sam, pour olive oil in my eyes right now.
It's been used to propagate yeast. I mean, you may
Let's do
get
it. So
something. I don't know.
Next show, I'm going to bring some olive oil. We're going to rub it on JP's head in a particularly bald spot. And then we'll
So my head.
Do we get to make a wish after doing that?
and then we'll
think
check
we do.
it at the next show and see if there's any new growth.
You're insane. You know I'm going to go home and do it right now.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, Taryn's going to be waiting with a bottle of olive oil when you get home. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll mean something altogether different.
Look up natural hair growth on Pinterest. 'Cause that's where I learned it.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. So Pinterest is... when did Pinterest sign up to be a WebMD affiliate?
Yes, it is, of course, true.
Yeah. Pinterest.
Yeah. I don't know.
Some dingy housewife saw it and was like, I'm going to reblog this and post it on Pinterest. And whatever. Anyway, let's judge this beer.
She just wants bald people rubbing oil on their heads.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Who doesn't? That's a good question. Probably a lot of people, actually.
Well, you're probably right. You're probably right. All right, Brian, start us off, buddy.
This American Amber Ale has a moderate citrusy hop note up front with it's got a low kind of spiciness too in the hop character. And fairly low caramel malt poking through a little bit, supporting a breadiness in the malt, kind of general base malt character in there. And the ester is pretty clean, fruity esters coming through at a medium-low level, not really intense or offensive or sharp or anything. No bad stuff, no DMS, diacetyl acetaldehyde, anything like that. Color-wise, it's kind of a medium-light amber color. And it has the first sample had decent clarity. It had a little bit of haze. This one seems to be just a little bit better. I think, was there a difference between the two bottles?
They were both poured off of a draft system, right?
Poured off the draft system, yeah. Okay.
Couldn't tell you which one came off first.
No, we don't know. Okay, yeah. I mean, maybe the first one was, yeah. We're getting the first one now. I don't know. But it does have a tiny bit of haze in there. Low off-white head that faded fairly quickly too, and but yeah, in the flavor up front, I get again kind of this medium citrusy hop character, fairly pleasant, and the beer overall kind of has to me like an American pale ale like presentation with some elements of the amber that you get. It's like, you know, some amber ales will go really rich toward the malt side. This one's leaning towards the lighter side. Both in color and in the way the malts come in across. And there's enough hop there that it's kind of, you know, the even balance between the hop and the malt, I would say. You know, nothing's really winning the war there. They're both just kind of in harmony. And that's nice. Some of them can be a little more...
it's so nice to be in harmony.
And that's nice.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. And when you get into beer judging, like using a word like nice as a beer descriptor is really frowned upon.
Yeah.
So
No.
Don't listen to, no. I mean, just, you can talk about the balance being nice, though, I think.
Yeah.
That's
Pleasant. You mocked as being indistinct.
Yes. Again, some breadiness and some low caramel in here. The finish to me was semi-dry, and the bitterness is medium-low, fairly unassuming. Very clean ale fermentation, and both the hops and the malt linger in the aftertaste. They both kind of blend together again in harmony. Nice
in a nice way.
They're not fighting. They're getting along well. So in the mouthfeel, it's kind of medium light in the impression of the body. The carbonation is also medium light. It's not super peppy, but it's there. I didn't get any real warmth and no astringency or anything like that. No harshness. It's pretty smooth. Not really super creamy or anything like that, but still fairly smooth and easy to drink. Overall, it's a pleasant drinking amber ale. Again, leaning towards the American Pale Ale territory to me. It has enough hop there to keep it interesting, and the malts that were used were pleasant, but you could bump up some of the either caramel or some of the other interesting malts using in there to give it just a little more color and bump up the maltiness. I think that what's there would stand up well to just a little more of that, and it would come across to me a little more as an American amber ale. But it's a fine beer, no technical issues, and well brewed. I like the hops that were used, and again, the malt choices were good. You just like experiment with some different hop addition or malt additions there. Something to give it just a slight bit more richness in the malt, I would say. I give it a 37, though. I thought it was a really pleasant drinking beer, very smooth, clean, and, the the haze, if that went away, could also help. But and bump up the carbonation. But it might just be a bottle issue, so I forgive that a little bit. But yeah, thanks for sharing.
Is that something typically you would do? Is lean a little lighter on the the forgiveness side for things like carbonation and stuff. So
we know they drove here in a car, and so the beer probably got shaken up. So we'll forgive the clarity issue there.
Like in a standard comp, like forget about just this scenario too. But
no,
should we be super concerned about it as homebrewers who submit?
You should be concerned about it, and a judge is going to knock you down for not having the proper level of carbonation. So. Okay. Thanks, GP, for reminding me of that. I'm just going to knock this down a couple more points here because of what you said.
Get the hatchet.
And you get more concerned when the brewer is sitting across the table from you and is heavily armed.
No, to me it was kind of a medium light carbonation where it should have been medium, so it was just a minor detraction to me. I can still taste what the intent of the beer is, and it's good.
So it didn't pull away from.
If it was completely flat, it would have been affected a lot of other elements of the beer, and then it would have been a bigger problem. But it's not there, so it's
okay.
Nice,
very nice.
Very nice.
Okay, great. I mean, no, not great. Nice, very nice.
Super.
Yeah, Lee.
Nice.
Can you top being nice?
That's all he's gonna say.
What can top being nice?
Really nice.
More nice. Yeah.
So I've got a lemony citrus kind of hop note in the aroma, medium low, not real intense, certainly not IPA level, not less than you get in most pale ales. So that's pretty much what you'd expect for the style. Medium caramel note. I got kind of a yeasty aroma in the nose out of that, which seemed a little out of place. Like, I don't know if it's the bottle, and this is the first bottle. It seemed like it was shaken up or maybe very, very young. I wasn't sure. There seemed to be more yeast presence in the aroma than I thought should be there. Appearance is light copper, red color, good clarity, a little bit of haze, though. It poured a low off-white head, which faded to a low bead pretty quickly. I thought I could use a little better head retention, but it was a very pretty-looking beer. Flavor, medium citrus lemon hop flavor, medium yeasty character, but with some suspended yeast. Seemed to be like maybe it was shaken during delivery or not finished carbonating. Low berry ester, balances slightly to malt finish with a little bit of that lemon citrus hop, some caramel, and a bit of the yeast bite in it. Nice kind of honey flavor to it, too, which I really like. Was actually a very nice touch in the finish. Mouthfeel is medium body, medium to low CO2, medium high creaminess, not astringent or hot, a little bit of lingering drying from that yeasty character. All in all, I thought it was a good amber ale. Balanced citrus lemony hops, which is a very nice touch. A yeasty note seemed a little out of place, but that seemed like it was the sort of thing that should be temporary. We'll nicely grill Craig and Brian about this and see what they have to say about it. Otherwise, it was a good example of the style, not overly hopped. It was a very nicely balanced beer, actually. I gave it a 31. The interesting note is I'd say the second bottle so that was the bottle we judged earlier. The second bottle was open, is almost entirely missing that yeasty note that I'm talking about.
Huh.
So I would actually score the second bottle several points higher. I think it's a much nicer beer. It is for American amber ale, sort of lighter and less hoppy, lighter in color and malt profile, less hoppy than many. Certainly not out of range, but sort of, I would say, less like one of the kind of old school, red tail kind of really big caramel, really hoppy kind of amber ales. Yeah. More like kind of a Lagunitas censored, which is a little more malt forward, but a lighter malt profile and less intense on the hops. And that's a really good beer. So I kind of like this. This is a nice beer. I think it's a good job. So I would up this probably, 35, 36 points, I think, for the second bottle with that yeasty bite thing removed.
Okay.
So it's a nice beer. Good job.
Thank you.
So when do you guys plan on opening a brewery?
It'll be late summer, early fall.
Okay. So you have a spot and you have a system and
we have a spot.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
and
a lot of work to do between now and then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Are you guys in using this to kind of like find a not a pilot, flagship beer? Or do you guys have kind of that kind of stuff already?
Well, yeah, we're still working on that. I mean, so we just did a tasting panel last week. We had actually 7 versions of the amber.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Everything from differing yeasts, differing malts, differing hops, hop schedule. Some were dry hops, some weren't. This is a non-dry hopped one. So this is something that we're looking at as potential flagship.
Okay. Awesome.
TBD. No.
You want to beat these guys up afterwards, or
Would love
it
to.
was fine?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for the guys?
I brought my nunchucks
kind of
today,
things?
so
Good.
We were thinking that the alcohol might have been a little high,
What's it at?
but 6%. I was shooting for a more like 5.5%,
5.5,
more
yeah.
drinkable, more sessionable.
I would personally appreciate
yeah,
it.
it hit that pretty well.
So it's hidden. I guess
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a plus.
Yeah, I
It
wouldn't have.
didn't seem overtly alcoholic.
I wouldn't have guessed that it was 6. There's no way.
Considering the light color and the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not sharp at all in the alcohol presentation.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, actually.
Of course, we've been
Nice.
drinking triple IPAs all night, but
Yeah. And all day. I mean, that's just what we do.
Yeah.
We hang out and drink triple IPAs.
That and fireball shots.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right before.
Yeah, because some of the feedback on this beer was that it was too rich, and then when we offered a dry hopped version, that brought it back into balance for a lot of people's palates. But
Yeah, it'd be
okay.
interesting
On
to
your-
taste that version if
that would be
you had it.
American Amber B.
Well,
We
hello.
have it. Yeah, we have
Let's
it.
try it.
yeah,
Let's crack some open.
Yeah.
If you
Let's
wanted to
Give
see
it a
what
shot.
pour it
happened.
right now.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't think that this beer is particularly too rich or anything. People may not be expecting a hop restraint like this in an amber ale around here, but I think it's pretty nice.
Okay, here goes the dry hopped version,
All right.
and this is also the same ABV, 6%.
Yeah, same batch. Just
Okay, cool.
Yeah, like a orangey citrus.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's very au courant. Did
Yeah,
I say
this-
that right?
this
I
is a
don't
little
even know what
more
you said.
modern amber ale. Like the other one was leaning more towards the classic style a little bit. It's
Yeah.
still I got substantial enough hop in there, and the late hops and the bittering that it's again it was fairly even balanced. It seems like you're leaning towards a hoppier version of the style, but this leans like all the way there, and it's a little more bold and a little more interesting to me.
Yeah, this is bolder, bigger. Actually, it's interesting. It seems more bitter.
It does,
even though
right?
all you did was dry hop it,
just
right?
yeah.
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 There's that perception
an
business.
ounce of dry hops
Yeah.
per 5.
Yeah.
So it's not
Okay.
even that heavy a dry
not
hop.
intense,
So
yeah.
far, yeah. No,
Just
this is
enough
pretty
to-
nice.
How old is the dry hopping? When did you dry hop them?
We're only a couple weeks away.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe a week's worth, and it's maybe
is
10
still-
days from that.
It's still
Yeah.
pretty
Oh, okay.
fresh.
Just quick
Okay.
crash, and it's
Yeah.
pretty fresh beer.
This would stereotypically fit the local market better, probably.
Yes.
What people are sort of looking at around here. But I think the non-dry hop version is also very nice.
Yeah, the dry hop. Yeah, I agree. But the dry hops give it that. Well, I don't know to be a plea, but the dry hop flavor. The kind of
dry hop.
not really grassy, but yeah, kind of just a vegetable, but in a good way.
Yeah, and it's not walloping over that like,
Right.
here's our dry hop.
Yeah, it's a nice
Tornado, but yeah.
it's a nice balance between the kind
Yeah.
of crystal malty and then and that. I prefer the dry hop.
I still
Yeah,
think
in the
yeah.
tasting panel, the dry hop won by quite a big margin. But it was a blind test, so people didn't know what was what.
Yeah.
But
I still,
by far it won.
yeah, I still think you could darken it up just a little bit. Maybe put like a little bit of
Sure.
Crystal 120 or something in there to give it the color. If you want to keep that same malt character, which is again pretty nicely balanced with the hop, and especially with the dry hop version, just bump up the color a little bit so it's like kind of more in the medium amber than the medium light territory. Because this like some of the pale ales you get could almost be this deep gold, light amber color with the kind of orangey highlights that you see, and especially once it clears a little bit more too, it's going to be maybe just a little too light. Did anyone say that in the panel, or am I just a outlier data point here, just gone awry?
It's all you, Brian.
We did have a beer that had more Caramunic and a little bit of roast malt.
And what did
that
they say about that?
Those got rated last,
Yeah.
and they were
Yes.
much darker.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't want to go intense, like
Yeah.
just a little.
It was
taste.
just noticeably. There is 2 to 3% of Crystal 120 in this.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
Yeah.
and some Crystal 40.
I think this
and
is
then
nice.
And then
Yeah.
a biscuit for
Very
character
pleasant.
malt.
Yeah,
that
just
kind
fine
of-
points, all of them. I'd rate this even better. This is probably getting towards 40 points for me for the amber ale beer.
Yeah. And if you put it in a bottle with a label saying it's 6% alcohol and call it an IPA, people almost won't object.
Now, are you guys?
It's not quite that hoppy, but it'd be about. This would have been a great IPA in 1997.
Oh yeah, right.
Now it's a really nice amber ale.
Do you have plans to do any bottling? Are you going to?
Yeah.
You good? Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of demand for the local beers when I go into the local beer shops, and they're always saying, people are always asking about the local beers and want to see them, and some of them will only keg, and others, only bottle specialty things. But if you start doing a regular bottling, you could find a nice little niche for yourselves there.
Yeah, I agree. If that's it for this beer.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That covers it.
Cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for sharing this, and especially the dry hop
feedback.
version.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back, and we'll try the other beer. Cool.
Sounds good.
Let me get my things ready. Here we go.
Got your things?
I got my things. All right, everyone, stay tuned. It's Dr. Homebrew.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Hey, dude, you know what beer this is?
Oh, no, all the labels are falling off.
Yeah, or the ink is run.
Well, if it's the pale ale, you're good, but stay away from the quote-unquote Belgian.
Oh, man, this guy needs to get some grog tags.
Grog tags are reusable, write-on, wipe-off, commercial-grade bottle labels for your brew. The guys at Grog Tag are homebrewers. They wanted great-looking, sturdy labels for your bottles, buckets, carboys, kegs, and growlers. They also wanted a label that not only looks good, but can be easily removed and reapplied during bottling without that nasty glue residue being left behind. No residue, water-resistant, and ice chest approved. Grog tags stay on in water or an ice chest, and they stay legible. Visit grogtag.com to customize your label or coaster from dozens of different templates for free and see how awesome your bottles can look.
It's that pseudo-Belgian.
Yeah, we're getting him some grog tags, dude.
Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good. grogtag.com.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Cans.
High Gravity Homebrewing Supplies wants you to keep it simple. Brewing should be fun. And with High Gravity's amazing electric brewing systems, it is. High Gravity keeps their brewing systems simple, on purpose. More efficient than gas, customizable, and with your choice of 1, 2, or 3 vessels, High Gravity's electric brewing systems will completely change the way you brew beer, formulate recipes, and improve your beer's consistency. Dave at High Gravity can customize your system to fit your needs. High Gravity invites you to visit their Build Your Own Brewery page and see how easy it can be to brew electric. And High Gravity offers $7.99 flat rate shipping on most of their products. www.highdgravitybrew.com. High Gravity. Keep it electric. Keep it simple. Visit highdgravitybrew.com. Now, back to the examination.
All right, we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. Just cracking that second beer that we have here. What is this, a Belgian Dubbel?
A double indeed.
A double or a Dubbel? What's the
Dubbel.
difference? How do you pronounce it? I've never really known.
Let's just say double.
Let's just say double?
I'd say
Yeah.
Dubbel.
But when you go to Flanders and, tomorrow or the next day or whatever,
I'll let you know.
are you going to say Dubbel or double?
I'll just point.
You just point and go, that
Give me
one.
one of those,
All
yeah.
right. You'd be one of those people. Like, oh,
Yeah.
here's another American pointing.
With my camera around my neck and my Hawaiian shirt.
Please
in
do that.
March.
Give me
Yeah.
that
do that.
Dubbel,
Yeah.
dude.
It's a Dude Bowl. There you go. New style, Dude Bowl.
A dude bowl.
Yeah, I don't know
Dude
what that
Bowl and
means.
Red Bull.
That sounds like something else.
Look at that color. That's pretty good, man.
It is pretty.
And this
yeah.
was bottle conditioned, right? You guys were nervous about this, but it looks pretty clear to me.
No, this one came off the draft system.
It came off
so
the draft system, guys.
We can drink the bottle conditioned after, and
Was the first one you gave us bottle condition?
no, that was
No, they're
yeah.
both draft. Okay.
They got kind of shooken up. I didn't want to give you cloudy beer.
Thank you.
So where does this fit in your profile? Is this going to be like your second beer, or are you just kind of messing around with it?
This was a club doze project. We,
Okay.
We
Okay.
raffled off a brew at my house on the pilot system, and
Oh, no, I
this
heard
was
about that. Yeah,
like
okay.
a people's choice, or the winner's choice was
Who
to
won?
brew this style. His name's Chris Gilmer.
Okay. Good job, Chris.
Yeah, good choice. He chose the beer and sent me the recipe. I scaled it up and brewed it, and it seemed worthy of judging and drinking.
Brewed at your
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, at my place.
Now we
yeah.
should
Yeah.
talk about
Your tiny.
what that might.
Talk
Brew
about
it.
Craig's
the
basement,
tiny
yeah.
little Mr. Beer kit that you have in your
Yeah,
basement there.
what's wrong with you?
I'm not sure.
No, so the Matt Zeimer just did a club project on his system. I think is that where you guys met
Yeah,
too?
that's where we met.
Yeah.
that project. Yeah.
And we brewed a lambic, and it's been souring nicely. I just got to taste it actually a couple weeks ago at the Mad Zymergist meeting. John Kerber brought some to the meeting, and it's coming along nicely. So it's starting to get a nice little tartness to it, and you can still taste the wheat in there, which I kind of liked. And it's got it's probably what 50% or more wheat. Or
It was a lot of wheat.
Yeah, there's a lot of wheat in there. So
Sounds good. Well, tell us
But,
about your
yeah.
system. What are you brewing?
system.
If you can imagine like the more beer horizontal 26-gallon pot system,
I can.
and then you just stretch it out to 80-gallon pots.
That's you.
That's what it is.
Wow,
yeah. A couple
80
of-
gallons.
The same pumps. And,
That's not your like everyday. You don't brew. That's just what you brew is 80 gallons.
It's
right?
efficient at the 20-gallon level still.
Okay.
With the geometry. So
Really?
and then when I have club friends over, we can
You can scale it up.
Scale it up, and it's consistent. And
But I mean, yeah,
reliable.
we as a club we had to run around and like, how do I connect up this hose? This looks like a real brewery, like it's got all the
Try clamps and
latches
stuff?
and
It is-
clamps.
yeah, it
It's
is-
all
it is
tri-closers.
tri-closers.
Yeah.
I'm used to like little plastic spigots and stuff, and I don't, I have Rubbermaid coolers at home. I don't get it.
Hand me the screwdriver so I can tighten the hose clamp. And,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense, but a lot of fun. It's
Did you
like,
build that yourself?
Slowly, it's like
Yeah.
it's been a 8-year project, I guess. It's been pretty consistently running for the last couple of years, where it's been mostly fun and not too much work.
What do you ferment in?
Well, actually, there has been some work. It started in like early big club projects where Sankeys with the stem or the thing pulled out of it, the spear.
Yeah.
Sorry, the spear
Yeah.
pulled out of
Yeah.
it. But that would be for if you're trying to fill a barrel, that might be 7 or 8 Sankey 15.5 kegs. That's a lot of cleaning, and as Lee will attest to, that's a lot of inspecting.
That's a lot of inspecting.
It's hard to see inside of those
Yeah,
things to know
yeah,
if they're
stick a little-
if the last ferment cleaned out of
Stick
it.
a little
so.
telescoping mirror down there with a flashlight, gooseneck flashlight, and inspect every centimeter of the surface inside of those kegs.
And then we graduated to a used Grundy tank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty standard in the
No conical
small
bottom,
brewery.
so it's good for one brew, and then you lose the yeast, and then but we could get at least a whole batch or two into it, and we've done some big batch imperial beers, and barrel aged them and so
Yeah,
on.
I think Craig's got more barrels in his basement than some breweries I've been to.
Oh yeah,
It's growing. It's into the garage now with the sour barrels, like the Mad Sea barrel.
Yeah, it's our fault.
Yeah. It's going to happen.
Sounds cool,
eventually.
man.
So now we need more space. So
you started.
Sounds like it.
we had to go get a warehouse.
Yeah.
And if the brewery goes down at some point, you can always just brew at Craig's place.
Yeah, we'll leave something running, man. That's for sure. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, good job.
Yeah, so the Dubbel was a project, a 2-barrel brew, and the winner, Chris, got to take home. I think we bottle conditioned 30 or 40 gallons for him to take home.
Wow.
And he had all his friends over. It was a big party, and the beer, I think we'll find out, but I think it turned out okay. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Lee, why don't you tell us if it turned out okay?
All right. I got a lot of esters in this beer. It had, I picked up in the nose, nectarine, banana, apple, a little bit of a hint of some plum, some raisin. It was more heavier on the lighter color fruit, the apple, the nectarine and the apple, the stone fruit kind of aromas than the plum. There wasn't a lot of that classic sort of double plumminess in here, but there was some. And that's probably fine. Definitely had a moderate alcohol note with a bit of a spicy character to it and maybe a little bit of heat in it as well. Which could be interesting as it ages, because those characters tend to become more interesting flavors as they grow older, even if up front they might seem a little raw. Didn't pick up any hops. A little bit maybe of a dark sugar rummy character, not a whole lot. So in the nose, it was mostly the fruit. It was a big fruit nose in this beer. Appearance, it pours a low head, which fades quickly. Is a brilliant color. Brilliant clarity, kind of a light brown red color, kind of like a medium but very clean penny. Very pretty looking beer. Didn't have much head retention though. Could probably use
a very clean penny.
A very clean penny as opposed to a dirty penny.
That's a good descriptor.
There you go.
Every once in a while, you throw out these new descriptors I've never heard before, and I appreciate it.
It's improvisation. I'm glad you appreciate it. It's so nice to be appreciated.
It's very nice.
Yes.
Continue, please.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's very appreciated. Yeah, last beer of the night. So, flavor. Get a lot of esters in here again. Very forward in the ester profile. Same ones as in the nose. Apple, banana. I got some cherry here. A lot of the stone fruit again. A little bit of raisin in the background. Very complex and interesting ester profile. Medium alcohol with an almost hot, spicy character to it. Some fairly low but present spicy phenols. There's sort of that classic Belgian white pepper thing in there. Not strong, but it's there. And you don't want a huge amount in one of these beers, but it's nice to have a little bit of it there. Medium alcohol, okay, and some cherry and raisin again. So probably maybe more from the malts and the esters. A little bit of a tart edge, not bad. It's probably not, not like an infection or anything like that. It's clean, just has a little bit of acidity to it. Maybe a little bit of water treatment would help that, or maybe it will just make for some more interesting flavors over time. Mouthfeel, medium-low body, which is pretty good for the style. The carbonation is almost non-existent in this beer, although the second bottle we're opening now has a little bit more to it, which is helping the flavor a fair amount. But the first bottle was very, very flat. It needed substantially more carbonation. The second bottle still does need some more carbonation, but it has enough to at least drive the flavors somewhat like it should. And that's actually a key thing for a double, because a lot of the double is a balance of the alcohol, the carbonation, the dryness, and those phenols is what balances out the malt and the ester. So getting that carbonation level right is actually pretty important, and it really drives the flavors a lot in these beers. Other than that, had a little bit of creaminess, which was nice. Not astringent at all. A little bit of warmth from the alcohol, which you'd almost expect in this beer. Good ester profile. So overall, good ester profile. Very complex and interesting. It may not last forever. I've had a couple of Belgians like that. Had that kind of fruit salad, stone fruit dominated ester up front, and when they age, that might turn into other things. But it might get very interesting, actually, over time. The malt bill is very to style. Not as dark as in some and not as plummy. It doesn't have that sort of intense plummy that you might get in a Chimay or the darker flavors you might expect for like a Roquefort 8. But it's just definitely a much lighter example of the style, but I think it's in style, and that's fine. The carbonation, I think, could be improved. You said these were bottle fills. off of a keg.
Off a keg, yeah.
Yeah, so probably need to make sure you get the pressure up in the bottle. Chill the bottle from a higher pressure. I'm not sure quite what's going on. We can talk about that. But I think that you didn't get the pressure into these bottles you brought in the proper level here tonight. But that's something that's pretty easy to fix even now. What is left here? A little more time. Might do some interesting things with the little bit of alcohol warmth and the spicy alcohol character in here and the esters. They might age and turn into some interesting flavors. I'm not talking years, probably months.
Didn't you just say it might not age well, like a minute ago?
The esters may not.
The esters may not age well. They'll probably change. It might change into more dried fruit esters or turn into other things or just fade away. But some of the alcohols, you'll try and get a little more of a rose character, which I think you picked up just a touch of. You'll talk about. And you'll get some other interesting things like that.
How old is this beer?
We brewed it, I think, first week of January.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say pretty young.
So this is about 6 weeks, something like that.
The bottle conditioned version has had enough time to condition, but it's still a new beer.
Yeah. So based on the first bottle, which was kind of too flat, I gave it a 30. The second bottle had a little more carbonation. I'd probably bring it up to a 35 or something. And with a few months or some better carbonation, this could actually be a really interesting beer. I think it has some promise to it. So it's very young though right now. Yeah, almost too young, but it's very nice. I think it has a bright future.
It's very nice.
This beer is. I agree with a lot of what Lee said about it, and the two samples have been a little different. So. It does have kind of a big fruit punch impression, and the most prominent fruit in it is the cherry-like ester that you're getting, and it tastes like cherry. I mean, you drink it's like cherry 7-Up almost, like cherry ale. It's like, is this a fruit beer? But no. So it's all coming from your yeast and the malts that you've used in the beer, and that's nice. It's got also a light apple, and I picked up a rose-like ester in there too, which could also be from a higher alcohol kind of a presence from the Belgian yeast that you're using in there. So it didn't have any huge obvious spicy quality to it. There was like a very low kind of white pepper, just very background thing. No hops were detectable in the aroma. As is expected in a lot of these beers. No DMS or DASTL or anything like that. The malt is just kind of lightly sweet and fruity in there. And again, appearance-wise, it has a really pretty reddish, light copper color with a low kind of eggshell-colored head and these pinkish highlights in it. It's really pretty. If it just had a little more head, it would have, had to give it a 2 out of 3 for the appearance, but I really wanted to give it that 3 because it's just a nice looking beer. Mostly finer bubbles, what is existing in the collar around the edge of the glass there. Flavor wise, it's kind of medium malty sweet up front. It's a malt balanced beer, but with yeast elements and fruity elements from the malt also. So very fruity, prominent cherry. And it does to me, again, like Lee said, lacks some of the raisiny and dried fruit characters that I expect from a Belgian Dubbel, but has a lot of other things that you do expect. No hop flavor, very very low bitterness. It's balanced to the malt and that fruity character. It has again a tiny hint of that light spiciness. I'd like to see that brought up just a little bit. I don't know if that's probably not going to come with time. That might just be the way you drive your fermentation. You could bring the fermentation temp up a little bit. We'll get into feedback later, but yeah. Again, very faint peppery and clove, just all totally background, and I'd like to have a little more of that. But the fruitiness just lingers into the aftertaste. It's cleanly brewed, and it tastes really nice. I think it's just, to me, just a recipe jiggering that you need to do there to fix it. Not fix it, but like, I hate to say fix when a beer is so clean, but yeah, it's like to bring it into the style, more into the style that it's declared to be. Body-wise, medium-bodied with low carbonation. And that was the first sample. The second sample does have more, like Lee said, and it is driving those flavors a little better. It did have a nice little bit of warmth in there, not sharp or hot at all, just very smooth. And again, you have to play the balancing act if you do increase your fermentation temperature to try to, well, you'll drive more esters too, and you might get a little more of the spiciness in there too. But you could get some more higher alcohols, which you'd have to let them age out or something, or But yeah, play with it a little bit. Use different yeasts and see what works best. I'm not sure what yeast was used, and we'll talk about recipe here, I'm sure, in a bit. Overall fairly smooth in the mouthfeel. No sharp alcohol, just floats right over the tongue, and it's a nice little alcohol delivery system.
It's very nice.
So yeah, tasty beer. Again, almost like it has this like cherry ale impression, like a fruit beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I wanted to say the weird thought that came to me was like, it tastes like a sour beer, but yet that has not been soured. It's like got that fruitiness and the edge of a sour beer, but without the
Sure.
any sourness in it. It's not sour, but it just lacks the dried fruit plum-like raisiny qualities that some of the best examples have at least a little more of. And you could bump up the special B or some other some darker Munich malt in there a little bit more maybe. You can work with the fermentation temperature a little bit. Dropping the fermentation temp might reduce the big cherry ester that we're getting in there, and you can get more of the raisiny esters or the raisiny qualities from the malt instead. And but yeah, it's a really good beer. It just needs a little bit more of the spice and the dried fruit character to kind of balance it out a little bit better, and bump up the carbonation from the first. But again, the second one is driving the flavors better, and I would score it better. I gave it a 30 like Lee on the first pass, but again, I probably come to, like him, I would come to probably a 34 or 35 or something with this one. It's a nice beer, pleasant, smooth to drink, and doesn't scream Belgian Dubbel to me yet, but it's
Right.
bordering on that, and it's got some very
existing.
promising qualities to it. So yeah,
Awesome.
Tasty beer though. Thanks.
Yeah, good rundown, man.
Yeah, so I would throw in just sort of one thing on here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys are going to take this to a place. I mean, you're going to start. Well, actually, so this was something you made for somebody who won a contest. If you were to go commercial with something like this, the whole concept of being narrowly to style, having the plummy thing that all the doubles are supposed to have, you wouldn't necessarily need.
Right.
And sort of this lighter malt profile and that big fruit salad, stone fruit ester actually could make a very nice combination. Mm-hmm. The thing you might want to think about was whether you wanted to try and serve this all quick and young, at which point you might want to try and throttle back that a bit if you think if you get too much feedback that it's boozy alcoholic. Mm-hmm. Or if this is something you want to put down the cellar and age a bit, you might actually keep it right where it is, or even, I hesitate to say drive it more. But that sort of stuff can actually age better and make a more interesting aged beer. Mm-hmm. There's some interesting possibilities with a beer like this. Yeah, it does miss the sort of the plummy thing that all doubles are supposed to have, but I think on its own merits, it's actually a very nice beer.
Yeah, I would agree. You don't necessarily need that. It's a different animal. Maybe it's a little, I don't know, lighter, I guess.
What malts
right
were in this beer, and what yeast did you use?
It's the 530 White Labs. I think they call it the Trappist.
Yeah.
Yeast. We got it from Black Diamond.
Okay.
So we could get a big
Get
pitch,
a big pitch, yeah.
ready to
Okay.
go for the big batch.
Those guys are great.
And I want to say I think the malt ratios were probably on par. We got the recipe from a known book that was pretty dialed in, or at least Chris did. That's what he wanted to brew.
Yeah.
But I did do one thing that I think may have diminished some of that raisin character from the Special B that was in it. We basically made extract because I was also brewing a triple the same day because I have the need to brew multiple different beers at the same time.
Right, yeah.
For some
You
reason.
have the sickness.
You McDonald's
Yeah.
us through
Right.
there, and
So,
you were brewing another
my
big
bright
brew.
idea was to get a very large grain bag
Yeah.
and steep these dark malts in,
Ah.
and maybe only a certain percentage of those did actually get into your tasting cup tonight. So
Yeah.
I'll be careful with recipes like this where that dark malt is super important to the style that maybe they should be in the bottom of the mash tun and not in the grain bag, hoping that it all gets a chance to infiltrate the entire bag.
Train bags are tough, especially in a large scale like that.
It was pretty big.
Yeah. And I mean, the style says, raisiny flavors are common, but it doesn't say they're required, really. I think this actually would probably fit the style.
Yeah, just cherry-like. And
it's
just
the paler end, yeah.
And as sometimes happens when we're brewing on this system, things came out stronger than expected. And we had the option to we didn't have any more room in the boil kettle to water it down during the boil, but I offered the suggestion of watering it down and getting it towards the middle of the style, but it's actually at the tippy top original gravity wise and ABV for style.
Yeah, I'm feeling the booze a little bit. Not in the warmth or the mouthfeel, but it's just like it's got a nice little
Brian's feeling the love,
happiness to it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Happiness. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow! Look, you guys are cheersing and everything. You guys might need to sleep underneath the counter here.
Yep.
No. That's what Bart's for.
That's what Bart's for. Yeah. Do you have any questions for the guys? I mean, I know this is a homebrewer's recipe, but if you want to ask any questions about this particular thing or anything, life in general, life lessons.
No, I think that kind of confirmed some of the things I was thinking about the beer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that the general public, contrary kind of to what Lee might have been saying there, could handle this beer with a little more of the raisiny character. And it might just be a personal preference thing of what I like in a Dubbel.
No, I think you're right. I think
have that dried fruit.
They could handle it, but you don't need it.
They can't handle it.
Or it could be a session double, right?
Some would prefer this and others would prefer the other, but there's a reason that the style works and that a lot of them are pretty raisiny and have a lot of dried fruit character. That just works with that and a little spiciness to it. That's the one thing that I was missing. There's not very much of that. A little clove-like and a little more phenol in there would help to kind of
the white pepper
balance out all that fruit that's there. It's so intensely fruity. And it's, again, pleasant to drink if you like fruit beers. I don't happen to like a lot of just, strawberry cream ale or something. I wouldn't order that, but I would order
even
this.
Beverly's going to throw up.
You could order this. And you could wait a month, and those esters will fade by half easily.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brian, now that you know the use of the beer. Right,
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a break, and we're going to come back. We're going to do our little recap, and then we're finally going to get out of here. It's going to be nice.
It's going to be a nice recap, too.
It's going to be very nice. Dr. Homebrew, everyone, back after this.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small. Single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit.
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Admit it. Homebrewing is not always free of frustrations. Years ago, brothers Bill and Jim Mitchell decided to minimize those frustrations and create an entirely new brewing process and a brand new kitchen appliance, the Pico Brew Zymatic. The Zymatic sits on your kitchen counter and connects to the internet via Wi-Fi. It comes with access to a huge recipe library full of award-winning beers and can brew your next batch at the push of a button. Improve repeatability and refine your recipes with the Pico Brew Zymatic. With minimal cleaning and hassle, the Zymatic enables anyone to brew craft beer in the comfort of their own kitchen. Just add your ingredients and the process of homebrewing becomes simplified and automatic, allowing you to focus on what really matters while you brew. At Pico Brew, they believe everyone should be able to enjoy the art of homebrewing and make their own damn good craft beer. See the Zymatic in action today at picobrew.com. Limited time only. Enter promo code BNARMY during January and February for 10% off any Monster Mill. Don't settle for the second best grain mill. You want a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware. Monster Mills are tough, come in 2 and 3 roller designs, and are made right here in the USA from superior materials for longer lasting performance. Pick the mill that's right for you at monsterbrewinghardware.com and take Bevo's advice.
Trust me, it's always better to have a bigger tool than you think you need.
Monster Mills have the best warranty in the business. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Visit monsterbrewinghardware.com now and check out all the mills and mill accessories. Remember, during January and February, for 10% off any mill, enter promo code BNARMY. A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California, and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The wrap-up version of Dr. Homebrew, which is, pretty fast right now. We're going to just run through the Amber Ale.
Right,
real
but don't
fast.
forget, if you got a beer, send it.
Yes.
Send it to JP, or get in touch with JP at thebrewingnetwork.com, right?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
That's correct.
Because we want your beers.
We do.
Yes.
We want all your beers.
Yes.
Every day.
Every day, all the time. And now,
Brian.
Yes.
Let's recap.
I like both these beers.
Either way, it's fine, man. Whatever.
We liked the beers. The American Amber to me came out a little bit ahead as far as having a lot of the characters that you want in an American Amber Ale. It was a little light for a style, but it was just very cleanly brewed, very pleasant, very smooth, and it had a nice. The dry hopped version especially had a nice balance between the malt and the hops. Again, on either of them, I would bump up the malt a little bit, but that's just maybe also a personal preference. The Dubbel was interesting. The first sample was almost completely flat. The second sample had a little more pep in the spritziness to it, and it gave a nice balance between some of the elements that are there. The fruitiness playing off the light spiciness and the light raisiness that was there. So again, we would bump up the raisininess and bump up the spiciness a little bit by playing with your fermentation and your yeast that you're using in there. And but again, to style, it doesn't have to be intensely raisiny or dried fruit like or plummy. It can be like this. To me, it was just a balance thing. I would have preferred it to have a little bit more of that. So, again, great beers. Thanks for sharing them with us.
Yeah, appreciate it. And so, go ahead. What's your brewery name going to be again? Or it is right now, right?
And what's
It's Shadow Puppet Brewing Company.
Shadow Puppet Brewing Company.
How did you come
What's
up with
the
that?
inspiration for the name?
Yes, it's really tough coming up with a name for a brewery.
Right.
All the brewery names, then all the beer names.
Yeah.
You're advised to not go anywhere near. Then all the winery names and all the wine names. And then all the Big Daddy names like Coca-Cola's flavored waters and all that stuff. So
right.
There's
this is what was left.
There's a very small
it's down
universe.
To this.
We got shot down several times.
Oh, did you?
We had many amazing names.
Well, give me a couple, just out of curiosity.
Like Artisan with a Z.
Couldn't even use your last name.
Yeah, couldn't do Blackburn Brewing Company.
Oh, wow.
There's a winery in California. So eventually we ended up at Shadow Puppet because my daughter, we were hanging out and she did a Shadow Puppet thing and she didn't even know what it was called. So I said, "Do you know what that's called?" She said Shadow Puppet. And when I heard her say it, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" No, it was like,
there you go.
Cute, but
right.
I got to go run upstairs and do
Hold
a
on, let me
trademark
get my
search real
computer.
quick.
Yeah.
So,
Well, then you can
excuse me, honey. Call my attorney.
Yeah, you could say that it ties into Shadow Cliffs right there. You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be
Yeah,
great.
right there. Yeah,
You mean you haven't heard of the Shadow Puppets Kvass Brewery in Wyoming?
How dare you,
not.
people? God.
Schottenpuppen in Germany.
Well, hopefully you guys will come back on when you open.
Absolutely.
Come on the
Would love
session
to.
and talk about the beers, and we can do that whole thing.
Yeah,
That'll
actually,
be cool.
this is the second month in a row someone has come on the show to announce a new brewery.
That's true. We had Nico on
Nico
last
on,
month.
yeah.
Yeah, from Nico Brew.
Nico Brew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait
Nice.
for his beers.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be hoppy. Great.
No doubt.
Hoppy
Yeah.
beer.
I love it. All right, so let's do some housekeeping real fast. So, because you guys are the only guests, you guys both win not only the Grog Tag, at least your beer will look good, $40 gift certificate, but you win the prize pack from HighGravityBrew.com. It's pretty cool. And you get some cool swag from 5starchemicals.com.
Nice.
Super awesome.
Yeah, so, since you're professional brewers now, you can distribute them amongst your club or, do whatever you guys
Or can they get the
wanna
XL
do.
Share the love.
package for the
Yeah, exactly.
the 80
XL
gallon?
package.
Ramp it up to
The
a
5-gallon PBW.
Yeah, that would probably be real nice.
Here's 2 ounces of PBW. Oh, well, that'll last for 1/10 of a batch.
The 5-gallon Star San with the pump dispense handle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
Wait,
Yeah.
Got it.
Craig already has that.
Been there, done that.
Before we leave, I want to tell you about the AHA. If you have not signed up for the AHA, you are missing out. You get some cool periodicals like Zymergy. You can vote in the elections, which are happening now. You can also enter the National Homebrewers Competition and try to win some everlasting glory. But more importantly, you really help the spirit and sport of homebrewing, if you will, to further and grow and expand and become what it's been.
More importantly yet, you can join us in San Diego for the National Homebrewers Conference.
Yeah, come down.
You
That'd
have to be a
good
member
time.
to go. So
You do.
I mean, I think, did they just close the window for registration? I think they might
did,
have.
like
but
10 minutes
probably.
ago.
hopefully you're already
if you're
registered.
not there already, it's next year.
Sneak in.
But next year.
Go
Come
next
on.
year.
Yes.
But you can still come down and maybe get some of the social packages, like B&A 10. Our anniversary party will be that Wednesday
yeah.
or Tuesday or something like
Definitely.
that. So
Looking forward to that.
yeah, you guys should. Well, I don't know if you guys are on the list yet. We'll see.
Yeah.
I was told I couldn't get on the list.
You're right. But Brian might be.
You
able
got
to.
me into
I'll use
previous
someone
versions of the
else's name.
BN before we were even on the BN. I was like, up in Seattle, like, hey, can you sneak me into this party? And JP's like, yeah, sure, asshole.
Sure,
whatever.
it's fine. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. You should have said that because I told you.
I'll make
no.
you pay it back in blood later. But, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, the blood will happen soon.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, I think we're ready, right?
We're ready.
Yes.
We did our stuff. So, Brian, tell me about the song I'm going to play because I actually wrote it down, so I'm actually going to
This
do
is
it.
my brother's band with his girlfriend Susie, and it's called Dance Attic. And they recorded a version of a classic Brewing Network song, penned, I believe, by Steve Castleman.
I believe so. Yeah.
Called "Pale Ale is a Friend of Mine."
Pale Ale. We haven't played that song on the show in forever.
It was recorded with one mic in her little cabin in the middle of the woods in nowhere, Wisconsin, and so the audio quality should reflect that. But I think it captured it nicely. Gives it a nice little ambiance to the song.
Well, I like
nice
ambiance.
ambiance.
Yeah, it is very nice. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. Brian and Craig, thanks for coming, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You guys did great. And thanks for bringing the beers.
Best of luck.
They were great.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys on Dr. Homebrew next time.
Homebrew, don't you love that homebrew? Can't get enough of it. Homebrew, it blows my mind. I love homebrew all the time. Yeah, think of having fun right now. IPA and Nutty Brown, they sure know how to get down. Double and triple, my best friends. Think I'll have them over again. Don't